Hello everyone, this is my third attempt to record this video because everything was not perfect. Today I'm dressed like I'm some kind of creature from hell because I like to change lipstick all the time, experiment with my appearance. I don't know how people can decide what they want to wear all the time. For example, they choose a goth aesthetic or I don't know, some other kind of aesthetic and they wear it all day every day. I cannot do that. I don't know, maybe because I like everything new and sometimes I just like to do something with my appearance. This was a long beginning. What I'm gonna be doing today. Few videos ago I made a sketchbook tour of this sketchbook and I showed you this page. I don't remember what I said exactly, but I said that I'm not satisfied with these drawings. I told you that it's easy for me to draw sunny day, but when the opposite, there is no sun, it's difficult for me to draw. So what I'm going to be doing today, I want to try to draw this drawing again, but I want to draw it on my iPad, to draw it in Procreate, and I'll share you the process of creating with you. And also maybe you would be interested in my thought process when I draw and how I think when I draw. So maybe this will be helpful, or maybe you're just curious, because I know that artists have different thoughts process, and maybe you would be interested in mine. And also I want to tell that why I sometimes talk about random topics, because I've seen that many people, okay, not many people, I've seen some creators are talking about I don't know how to pronounce this word, authentic. I'll write this word. When you wear mask all the time, and if you spend so much time doing what you love to do, and some people record insane amount of videos, and when your work is taking much more time than your real life, then of course you're gonna be exhausted, because wearing a mask is, while it's sometimes it feels it's safe, but at the same time, if people most of their life pretend to be someone they're not, they're gonna be sad, probably. Well, not everyone. I can say this about everyone. But this is what I've noticed, because this is why I like when people being real in the videos. And sometimes it just doesn't matter what person is talking about, because very interesting to see how person think, what made them smile. For example, they share some things like what they make them smile today, or I don't know, if they say some random facts that I didn't know, or maybe they share something what they've been thinking about a lot of time. It doesn't really matter, because what I think matters in a real life and in YouTube, and well, at least for me, I think that the honesty is the most beautiful thing in the world, because when a person is honest, and I'm not saying that people should talk all the dark, deep secrets. Of course not. Of course, that people have personal life and they don't want to share everything. It's normal. I'm saying that when you look at someone who is being real, with being honest, it feels good. It sometimes can be relatable. It just feels good to get to know people. Since I'm a very curious person, and it doesn't really matter what they talk about, because if a person is interesting to you, then everything they say is interesting. Well, not everything, no, most of the things. Okay, so this was a very long beginning. I probably edit a lot of it. Let's start drawing. What this drawing is about. As you can see on this screen, and if you cannot see, I will add a photo later. It has this interesting mood when this drawing has this interesting mood when there is no sun and there is no distinct light shadows. For example, you can see some shadows under the cars but they're not very distinct, as I said before. So when I paint, and especially when you have a photo and you haven't painted it from life, it's difficult to draw it again, because uh, it's much easier to paint from life, because when you paint from life there are much more colors, because photo apparat is ruining the colors that nature usually has. So what I'm gonna be doing right now, I want to try to paint it again in Procreate, because I don't like how colors turn out here. Since I have not many colors on a photograph, I have to imagine a lot of things. Let's start thinking. Think with me. If there is no sun and everything is sunlight is hidden behind the clouds, then most likely that color of the light is gonna be some kind of blue, because, and to be honest, I don't really know why this is happening. So I think the light could be this color. I'm not really sure if this is correct color, because I'm guessing the colors. I look here, it looks like there's some kind of blue. If I would use the tool called I would not, it would have gray colors, and since I want to make this painting look more alive, I don't want to use many gray colors. Of course it's gonna have some gray colors. Painting is looking much more alive when it has various of colors. So, and what I personally noticed, if you are able to choose the right color, then it will make your painting look alive. So let's start guessing colors. And I probably should have started from draftsmanship, but I think I figure out it now. So I don't really know why when the sun are behind the clouds everything is looking bluish. I think it's just because the atmosphere itself have blue color, plus sun is making clouds to put everything on the earth in the shadow. So I think these two factors combining these colors and everything is looking cool. So if the light is cool toned, then the most likely shadows are gonna will have warm colors. And if we look at the color wheel, it should be the opposite color. It's something from these shadows, from this. And I think I would use more dark version of it and not so saturated. And in theory everything is everything is right, but when I start drawing maybe I'll make mistakes, so I need to figure this out. So I'll have the blue color on the first layer and I'll create the second layer, so if I messed up the draftsmanship I could correct it. So here's the cards. Something like here. There's some man standing. So for the mid-tone I would choose the same color, but I will, so it's like gray but not very gray, and I chose the wrong brush. I like the brush called old brush. I don't know how it's called in an English version, probably the same. I love this brush because it has this painterly effect. You know, sometimes with Procreate brushes, in this standard Procreate brush I haven't downloaded from anywhere. I think the sky has the same color, but it's more light. When you paint and want to paint in painterly drawing, it's necessary to use variations of color. And if you see that I'm turning it around all the time because I'm trying to look, does my sound record, does my camera record, and I'm checking all the time if everything is alright. If you can look at this drawing, it's have the same white, it doesn't look like the original photo. To be honest, I don't know which brushes are the best for drawing trees, because the old brush is perfect for drawing many things, but for drawing trees this is not perfect, because um, trees supposed to be like, they supposed to become thin to the end of, and this brush doesn't have it. Sorry, I don't know how to translate it. I will translate it and add to the screen, because I forgot how this works for songs in English. It's so weird that when you talk, try to talk different language, because when camera is not recording, I feel like, wow, I have rich vocabulary, but when I start recording, it's like I forgot all the words in Russian, in English, and when I try to say something, I cannot say anything. I don't like how this brush is making look trees. Trees are supposed to be very petite, and this brush, it doesn't matter if you change the size of brush, it's still not doing the right effect which I want to create. Okay, everything seems like in the right places. Maybe I'm not sure about horizon line. I hate how this brush is making look at branches. So, said Natasha, and continue to use the same brush. Oh no, I painted building in the wrong place, because you see, it's important to make your draftsmanship work on a draftsmanship, because when you work on draftsmanship, your building will be in the exact same place you want it to be. So everything looks the same. I need to add some colors, so it will look more alive. What I do usually, I look at this color that I use, and I use similar colors. I will choose some colors that are much darker, and just add love these colors. There's supposed to be some more dark blue colors, and it's important to be careful with colors. I mean, it's important to play with colors, but when you play too much with colors, it may make it look not realistic at all. If you choose the wrong color, of course. If you choose the right color, see, when I'm trying to explain my thought process, it's difficult to explain, because if for example, someone's watching who's never painted before and have this, why did she choose this color? How am I supposed to know which color to choose? I'm looking at the reference photo. I choose colors that are near on the color wheel. You remember I chose this color I chose the color blue, and I looked at the color wheel and chose the opposite color, and this color I used to make shadows. So I think I need to use more of this color to add it to some places where supposed to be shadows, but I need to be really careful, because if I choose very saturated version of it, I may ruin the drawing. And also when I paint, I need to keep in mind that I don't need to make mistakes in the water structure. For example, this is not bad color, but I see that this looks much more light than it's supposed to look like. So I'm choosing this color, but make it more dark version of it. And also, what is happening right now, I will make the snow look much more brighter than it is now. It's all the base, it's all the beginning. And I'm thinking that this side of the car is much closer than that side, so I'm adding bright here, so it look more like the side of the car closer to us. What is the most difficult thing in drawing, in painting, and by painting I mean realistic painting, is to keep in mind not only colors you're choosing, colors, draftsmanship and all that, but also remember about water structures. Because if you mess up water structures, it doesn't matter how colorful your painting will be. If water structure is not right, your painting will look not realistic. I mean, everything matters in drawing. You can say that some things are more important and other are not. But from my observation, colors in drawing make drawing look alive. Right colors. The light and shadow water structure is helping to add more depth to the drawing. To be honest, I'm not really sure how I would paint snow on the branches because I don't know which brush to use for this. Brushes are important too, and not only brushes in Procreate or Photoshop or other digital drawing program. It's also important in paintings. For example, for many years I was making the same mistake over and over again when I was painting oil paintings. What I was doing is I just didn't care about the brush work I'm making. So what helped me is I was looking at the artworks of different artists and I was trying to notice how they were making brush strokes, and it taught me a lot. In my paintings, oil paintings, I started looking much more cool when I started to use a palette knife. When I paint oil paintings, I often use palette knife and brushes, synthetic brushes, also brushes that I don't know how to translate. To be honest, when I was painting this, making this acrylic painting, I have not the same thought process that I have right now, because my main thought was, how am I supposed to mix these colors? Because acrylic paints are very new for me, so I'm not sure sometimes how to mix colors. Because I'm pretty sure that if I would paint this exact painting in oil painting, I would probably make a good painting, because I make oil paintings all the time, so I know how colors are supposed to behave. No, this is not the right word. I know what color is supposed to do, but when you choose a new material, you're like, I know which color I need, but I'm not sure how to mix it. What lesson have you learned today from this video, and what lesson I learned? If you want to draw something from nature, from life, better if you would draw it from life, if you have the opportunity. Make etudes from life, because when you paint from a photo, you need to imagine a lot of things. Oh, and only now I noticed that I completely messed up the cars from behind. I was focusing on everything around there and I didn't notice that I made this mistake. Sometimes I made the most stupid mistakes when I was drawing. For example, it was years ago when I was painting Sherlock from BBC Sherlock. I accidentally painted him with 6 fingers. You may ask me how this happened. Well, I was focusing on everything around him and didn't notice that I accidentally painted 6 fingers. When I was painting Captain Jack Sparrow, I accidentally forgot to draw his nostrils. I posted it on DeviantArt, and only then I noticed that I forgot to paint his nostrils. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.